Okay, and this one, they want us to factor out the greatest common factor. So we're going to look at 6. First, I'll look at the numbers. 6, 14, and 6. What goes into all three of those would be 2. They're all divisible by 2. So put a 2 in the front. Now, when it comes to letters, for the letters, you take the lowest power because that's the most they have in common. So look at z to the 15, z to the 10, z to the 6. What's the lowest one? Z to the 6. Okay, and then we put a parenthesis, that little wider, and we're going to put 3 things in there. Plus signs in between. Mine have plus signs, whatever signs you have in between there. So, okay, so now we're going to go 2z to the 6 times what would go back to 6z to the 15th. Remember how so we're thinking about multiplication backwards now. We're thinking what would multiply. That's what factoring means. To factor something is to unmultiply, to find out what it was before it was multiplied. So 2z to the 6 times what would go back to be 6z to the 15th. We want to find out what the 3 things are that go in here so that if I was to distribute through, take this 2z to the 6th and distribute through, it would go back to these 3 terms. What was it before it was multiplied? Well, this one, remember how multiplication works. Out front numbers multiplied, powers add. So this would be 3z to the 9. Why? Because 2 times 3 goes back to 6. And the powers add. 6 and 9 makes 15. Remember, out front numbers multiply, powers add. Out front numbers multiply, powers add. That good so far? Now, what about the next one? What's going to go in the second spot? Right there. Well, you got to go back to 14z to the 10th. So it's going to be 7z to the 4. Right? Because out front numbers multiply, 2 times 7 is 14. And z to the 6 and 4, powers add, z to the 10. There we go. And finally, the last one. This would be 3, right? Because you got to go back to 6z to the 6. Be 3, and that's it, just 3, no z's at all. Because 2z to the 6 times 3, remember the out front numbers multiply, 2 times 3 is 6, and you've already got the z to the 6. Now, a mistake that some people make is they go, well, I'll just put a regular z in here. That's wrong. I'll just put a regular z with no power at all. And so that's the same thing, right? It's just 2 times 3. No, it's not. Remember, if a z has no power showing, it really has a 1 power. And now that's wrong. 6 and 1 would go back to 7, and that's not 7. So careful, don't make that mistake. No z at all is correct. 2z to the 6th times 3 will go back to 6z to the 6th. So let's recap. How do we get this in the front? We found out the number that goes into 6, 14, and 6, 2. 2 is the biggest number that goes into all 3 of those. And then with the letters, you take the lowest power because that's what they have in common. We're finding out what they have in common. So they all have a z to the 6th, right? That's the lowest one. They all have z to the 6th or more. So 2z to the 6th is what they have in common. Put that in the front. Put a big old parenthesis, 3 blanks with plus signs between them, and then just find out whatever works, whatever multiplies to go back. And there we go.